Okay, so it's been a half hour. I'm going to put my goggles back on. And as you can see, it's a lot different than when we left. It's kind of puffed up on the side. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stir the whole thing together. Try not to keep your lid off too long because you lose heat very quickly. And as I stir, I'm just going to scrape up the sides. Now, keep in mind, I made 3 batches of soap before I got one that actually was soap. The rest were just messes. So, you know, it's not something that's you're going to get right away. You might be lucky and get it right away, but not to worry if you don't. Okay, and what else? There was a few things I wanted to say. So I got my molds ready ahead of time just so that when I do want to pour, everything is ready to go. The difference between doing a hot process, which I'm doing now, and a cold process is that when you stir the lye mixture and the oils together, they have to be at the same temperature. So you mix them, and as soon as it comes to trace, it's ready to pour. Now, so with this, it's much more of a leisurely soap making process, but I still like to have everything ready and ready to go whenever my soap is ready. Now, the way I'm going to test the soap is there's 2 things. I use these strips that my husband used to test the alkalinity in the pool. They're just, they're pH strips. Or you can do it a simple way, is you take a little bit of the soap, let it, put it a little bit on the side or on a spoon, let it cool a bit. Put it on the tip of your tongue, and if you feel like almost like a zing or a zap, that means your soap is not ready. But if you do it and nothing happens, it is ready to pour, and it's saponified, and it's become neutral. So at that point, it won't burn anything on your skin or your eyes or anything like that. And that's one of the reasons I got rid of the mask, is that the vapors have long dissipated. So that's it. I'll check it back in another every 15 minutes at that point, and when I know it's ready, we will continue, and then I'll pour everything in. Alright, so I've tested the soap and it's totally neutralized. I did the zap test. And just right now, before I put it into its molds, which are already set up and on the table, I'm putting in the essential oils. Now, unfortunately, this could have been a lot greener, but I didn't really have a whole lot of parsley on me, so it didn't turn as green as I wanted. So it's just kind of a light, kind of like beige right now, but that's okay. Okay, now I'm just going to grab some oven mitts, because even though I turned the pot off, it's still hot. Now, there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can use just about any container. I've started to realize that there's a lot of things that I could use. Milk cartons are great, but don't forget you have to put freezer paper inside with the shiny side towards the soap. So you can use that, or you can use yogurt container, or molds like this. Those will need to be sprayed with a spray oil, something like this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the silicone molds, which I like the best because they're the easiest to get the soap out once it's cooled, and it's also, you don't have to line it with anything or put spray in it. So just kind of put a big drop in it. Mix it into the mold. I'm going to be careful, because even though it's no longer alkaline, it's still very, very hot, so you don't want to burn your hands. Now try to scrape as much of this out of the pot as you can, because it's all usable. So, you know, even when you've got very little left in the pot, you can still add hot water in it and it'll dissolve, and it'll actually make a good cleaning soap for the pot itself. So I'm just going to push that in, and anything that's left over I'm going to just scoop up, put it in here. I got a lot of stuff caught here, which is not what I wanted to happen, but anyways. Push this into every part of the mold. And basically that's it. So what's going to happen is I will leave it overnight. You don't have to leave it overnight, but you need it long enough in there so that it completely cools. Because if you don't, it'll start to lose its shape once you take it out of the mold if it's still hot. And I'm just going to scrape the last little bits with the spatula. Stick it in there. And that's it. I'm going to let it sit, and tomorrow I'll show you what it looks like once I've unmolded it. But basically, even if I was to take this and let it harden, it would be a piece of soap. It would be ready to use. So it's been about 12 hours since I've put the soap in the molds, and now what I'm going to do after it's completely cooled down, and what's great about is when you use the freezer paper, make sure you make it long enough so that you can actually grab it when you need to pull the soap out. And then I just take it out of the paper. And then after I've done that, I'm going to get a cutter and cut it. And with this, this is a silicone mold. I just push down because this is so flexible. It's easy to take soap out of it. Now with this, you can either trim the bottom with just a sharp knife, and after you've had it out, you should probably give it a spray at least 2 or 3 times, so that it reduces what's called soap ash. Soap ash is safe, but it's just it looks better without it. It's just kind of a white powdery residue, and this stops it from forming. This is alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. Okay, and then I'm just going to get my cutters out. So either use a straight one like this or a crinkle cutter like this. And you probably should make it about maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches when you're cutting. Just cut straight down. So you can use this right now, but I like to let it dry a little bit more and then harden. So you see that makes a nice little cut. So you cut that continually until you get everything cut. And basically that's it. You've got your soap. You can package it in many different things. But make sure it's, if you do wrap it fully, it's in something that's breathable like paper. Otherwise it will change and harden a little bit. So if you put it in plastic, it probably won't last as long. So put it in some sort of paper wrapping. And the only thing I have left to say is that when you do start to make soap, make sure you don't use any aluminum equipment, knives or molds or anything like that, and make sure that you do not use non-stick products, a pan or a pot or whatever. Make sure it's either stainless steel, glass, or durable plastic. And that's it. That's the whole process of making hot process soap.